Good evening, good afternoon, good wherever you are. This is Omnibroslive, ladies and gentlemen, the best comic book podcast on the internet. Yes, we haven't won any awards yet, but we will one day. I can guarantee it. And with me, as always, ladies and gentlemen, you know him as the Silver Fox, Mr. Just Bragg.
Hit him with the hind.
As always, ladies and gentlemen,
Uh-oh.
you know him as
wait, that's me. I know how to fix that. Just
Mr. Oh, me.
Okay, did it. That was me. Sorry.
Uh-huh.
I'm on the air 1 second, and I'm already effing up.
Oh, man, that was me too. Don't feel bad.
Oh, I blame you then. And Nick.
Yeah. Well, Nick's in the chat, so we can actually blame him today. Nick.
Okay. It's Nick's fault.
Mm-hmm. I blame Nick for your pizza arriving late. How late was your pizza?
15 minutes late. I should have ordered it earlier, knowing how things can go wrong. I should have ordered it earlier. But I wasn't hungry earlier.
Yeah, but don't you get it for free after a certain time? Don't they do that still?
Oh, I don't think they do that still. I did get a free pizza because I had enough points with the pizza joint, but they were like 15 minutes late, and I don't know. I should have ordered it at 7, but I wasn't hungry till 7:15. So,
hey, I've been there, man.
Yeah,
trust me. I'm not hungry right now. Then all of a sudden, oh man, I could go for like a cheeseburger. Ooh, I could actually go for a cheeseburger right now. Thinking about it.
Raleigh Smith and Beto and I had awesome cheeseburgers in San Antonio. One of the best burgers ever. If I can remember all the food I ate correctly on that Texas tour, since I was eating 24 hours a day, it seemed like. It was a burger with refried beans, avocado, and corn chips on it. And it was amazing.
That sounds amazing, man. You've been posting pictures all week. And I'm like, God. And my heart is stopping thinking about all the nasty food.
Yeah, I totally gained 10 pounds. No question.
It was bad, dude.
It was all great, though. They took me to the highlights. Raleigh Smith and Beto Rios took me to the highlights of San Antonio. And then Riley and his wife, Megan, took me to the highlights of Austin. And Austin was just great. So was San Antonio. I mean, I had a blast hanging out with all those guys.
I used to live in Dallas when I was a kid. I love that area. I love Austin. I want to go back.
Yeah, it was fun. We stumbled on the Austin Toy Museum and spent about an hour there. All of a sudden, Riley just caught it out of the corner of his eye and said, "What the heck is that?" And I said, "I don't know. Let's go in." And we went in, and it's basically some guy's collection that is almost a city block worth of toys that you and I both grew up on, and our pinball machines and arcade machines.
Oh my God, that sounds incredible.
And every game system there is, and they were set up for free. You had to pay admission, but the game systems were all set up for free. We tried playing on a Sega Genesis, playing the X-Men game on a Sega Genesis, but either my controller wasn't working right, or I'm partly an idiot, and it's probably a combination of both of those. Because Riley was achieving things, and I was just like, and I've been playing video games for a while. They had models of the Magnavox Pong console that I played back in 1972 or something, when Pong was a big deal.
That's awesome, dude. I am really jealous just because of the food. I'm sitting at work, and you and Riley are posting pictures, and I'm looking at my salad going, I hate my life right now. I honestly hated my life for those few days.
I'm telling you, that chicken on the donut was the best thing I have ever eaten. It was salty and sweet in the perfect combination. It probably didn't look that good on the pictures that I took, but it was amazing. I would go back to Austin just for it. It was perfect. Perfect.
That sounds incredible. Um, we have here a restaurant that they give you a burger in between two Krispy Kreme donuts.
Oh yeah, that was an option at a place
Yeah.
we went to. I think. Oh no, it was an option if you went to the food truck's main place,
Mm.
the restaurant. You could get that, and I totally wanted that, but we didn't have a chance to go there.
Oh man, that'll kill you. That'll put you in the hospital.
Have you had that before? The Krispy Kreme burger?
Once I got diabetes. Yeah, they almost had to take my foot off at the end of the night.
Yeah, Riley and I went to a candy store too that was half a city block big. So we were pretty much little kids though both days that I was there.
That is so awesome, dude.
We just went wherever the wind blew. He said, maybe I should go to Best Buy to look for the steel book of Rogue One. And I said, okay. And he's like, because I don't have enough hobbies as it is. And I go, I'll start a new hobby. That sounds good.
Yeah. I was thinking about getting the steelbook, but like I've said, I've just recently upgraded like my entire living room. Like before the whole car situation, all that happened, I had upgraded my entire living room with a new 4K TV, HDR, the whole works. And I've been talking to Ryan Sace about that. Shout out to the Welsh bastard. We all love
the bastard himself.
Yes, big shout out to him, who, by the way, is also my newest patron. Thank you so much, sir.
Good for him.
Yeah, awesome dude. If you ever get a chance, give him a shout out in the Facebook group. Really nice guy.
No, he's not.
Come on, just don't throw him under the bus. He's a nice guy. There's a reason we call him the Welsh bastard, though.
He is a bastard.
I've been talking to him, and we both have decided, like, at the same time, we both upgraded, like, our entire living room sets, and we've been talking tech to each other. And I just recently upgraded everything, and now I'm so disappointed in Disney because I want Rogue One in a 4K HDR format, but they have not released it yet. And they're holding out on me. I know they're going to release it in a few months, in, like, a year.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to check was Brubaker's. No, yeah, I think that somebody said something about Brubaker's, and Riley got Brubaker's Omni. Riley got Brubaker's Omni, and I said, "Gosh, that looks thin compared to mine." I have the first printing, and indeed, it is thinner than mine. My first printing, so it's I would say it's about a third smaller.
That means that they probably use a smaller paper stock.
I guess so, yeah.
Which is kind of what I'm hoping that they'll do with the Walter Simonson Thor Omnibus, because they are going to reprint that at the end of this year. So I'm hoping that they'll use a smaller print stock because that omnibus is unwieldy as hell.
Yeah, and it's got binding problems, right?
I had 2 copies. Both of them had binding issues.
Yeah.
It was just too big.
Yeah.
It was way too much. That could have easily been 2 omnibuses.
Yeah. Same with Colossal Conan.
Mm-hmm.
That's an incredibly big book.
But they're reprinting that at the end of the year, Colossal Conan.
Colossal Conan there?
Not an omnibus, in trade paperbacks.
Right. Okay.
In trade paperback collections. For those of you that are wondering, Riley will be joining us later. He is stuck in traffic. He's on his way home. So he's on his way, though.
So now's the time to talk about him behind his back.
Don't say nothing. Come on. So be honest. I want you to be honest.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay.
You hanged out with him for a little bit.
I don't know.
Shh.
I never got close enough to him for see how his breath was. I'm sure it was fine. I swear we were like 2 kids just on a summer's day, just like, okay, so what should we do? And we never had a problem finding things to do. We went to a couple of Targets. I think I talked him out of going to Walgreens to look for Pops and Legends because Walgreens in Texas sucks like they do everywhere else. There was nothing to get. I went to about 7 Walgreens in Texas, and there was no Legends and no Pops and nothing. But we went to some comic book stores and we found some things, and we went to some half-price books and found some things.
It's awesome.
So yeah, it was a lot of fun. He was easy to hang with.
Man, that's really cool. Honestly, I'm looking forward to the day where you, Gabe, Gio said he wants to come down here. Gabe has said he's got friends down here, so he definitely wants to come down here. And I've spoken with you that you're like down for almost any time to come down here as well.
Oh yeah, flights are cheap to Orlando.
Oh, absolutely. Especially now during the summers, it gets pretty pricey because that's when everybody starts going to the theme parks and stuff. But right now, flights are dirt cheap. I'm surprised they're not as expensive, especially this weekend, because this weekend is Star Wars Celebration here in Orlando.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not going to it. I passed on it because MegaCon is next month, which is the biggest South Florida convention here. So I'm going to go to that instead. I'd rather attend that because it has more things that interest me. So I can't blow too much money on conventions that quick.
I did take United, by the way.
Did you? Did you get... Well, at least you didn't get kicked off a flight.
No, it was interesting seeing that video 2 days before I had to fly back.
Did you? There was a news story today where some guy got stung by a scorpion on a United flight.
My wife told me about that, and we both at the same time went, ah! Can you imagine the scorpion dropping on your head in a flight? That's worse than getting carted off to me.
I am this close from buying a ticket on United Airlines just to see if I can gamble and get a lawsuit out of them for something happening to me.
They couldn't have been nicer to me, so I don't know. Maybe they were on their best behavior, but there were no scorpions and no security personnel. Because, of course, with me, if anybody says you have to give up your seat, if they got a badge on, I'll say, here's my seat. You can have it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to hassle with that, but a scorpion dropping on your head, that's fucked up.
Well, that guy's going to get a big payout. The guy from United Airlines for that beating, oh, man, his lawyer's going to cash out with that.
Yeah, I imagine so.
All right, but let's get this rolling a little bit. For those of you that don't know and didn't see we really went on a tangent there. It's kind of like the Sunday show, the news show, when you and we just start going on tangents after a while, and we end up coming back to it. But for those of you that are joining us, this week's episode is going to be focusing on conventions, mainly conventions, do's and don'ts. Jess, I assume you've been to you've been to a lot of conventions, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
I've spent the majority of my comic book collecting life and my youth in conventions, going in and out of them, attending small cons, attending big cons. I've seen a lot of stuff, a lot of good stuff, and a lot of dumbass bad stuff, especially from a lot of people. Today we're going to be talking about a few do's and don'ts, things like that, what you should do, what you should not do. Right off the bat, I'm going to say right now, bathe. Okay?
Bathe.
Please, bathe.
That's the first thing.
Yes, deodorant and a goddamn shower at least once during the 4-day convention. That's all I'm asking. Okay?
Once, twice a day.
Well, you know, I'm a twice a day kind of guy. I bathe before work and I bathe before bed. But some of these bastards, they don't bathe all 4 days, and by day 4, it's it's bad.
And brush your teeth.
Oh, please. But yeah, we're going to get into that a little bit later. As always, let's first start off with what have you read this week, Jess?
I read some really good books. I didn't get a chance to read much because I was so on the go in Texas. But the first thing I read was The Flintstones, and it deserves all the praise it gets. This is easily my favorite book of the year. It is incredibly sharp and pointed satire, and I love the updated look of The Simpsons. I'm sorry, The Simpsons. The Flintstones. I love the updated artwork, making them, you know, a little bit more real life. And every single story, every single page, everything, every single bit of it was just fantastic. I loved the whole thing. In paperback form, I don't know, it's probably $8 at IST or something. You cannot go wrong getting this book. Don't mistake it for some kind of cartoon. It is super sharp, great satire, and I loved it to pieces. Then, what's that?
I'm glad you just reminded me because I'm about to put the order in on Amazon for it. I completely forgot.
Oh yeah, you will love it. It is. It's really pointed and sharp satire that is super, super good.
Sounds up my alley.
Yeah. No, you educated people that have had, a brain in their head will totally get where it's going.
It's very satirical take on the United States, and it handles a lot of topics.
Exactly. A lot of modern topics set in a, 10,000 years ago sort of world where we lived with dinosaurs, supposedly. But yeah, it was great. And then I read the 4 volumes of Postal, which I posted about today on the group. And I can't say enough about this either. Has a really interesting premise. Have you read Postal? I
have not. No.
You definitely need to. This is like one of the better books that I've read this year. It takes place in a place called Eden, Wyoming, and everyone in Eden is a criminal, including the mayor. And it's a place, I'll read the description on the back. It's a place to hide and start a new life, to lay low from the government, and everybody's in on it. They follow the rules, they stay safe, and nobody gets hurt. So it's a bunch of crooks that are completely off the grid. There's no cell phones allowed, no computers, no digital devices. They stay completely off the grid. They govern themselves, and they all get along fine until the town's first official murder in 25 years. And the mayor's son, the lone postal worker, who has Asperger's syndrome, sifts through the town's and his family's dark history. Turns out they really portray him well. I don't know a lot about Asperger's syndrome. I assume this is an on-point presentation of it. It turns out he's a really good detective. He eliminates what doesn't make sense, and what does make sense ends up helping him solve various crimes. And the central idea that it's a town of criminals, made up of criminals who've all gotten out of jail and are trying to stay on the straight and narrow, but kind of not staying on the straight and narrow. But there's a mayor there. She rules with an iron hand. And if you screw up in that place, there's a harsh punishment for it. So everybody is encouraged to keep their nose clean there. And it's 4 books with 3 or 4 story arcs going through it, but there's a main story arc that goes through it. And I can't say enough about this book. I burned through the 4 books really quickly. Because it is so well written and so well thought out. I mean, it is just a brilliant conceit that there would be a town off the grid full of criminals, and then how they govern, and what the issues are, what the problems are. I just can't say enough about it. This is something that everybody should read. It is really, really well done. It's from Top Cow /Image, and these are really cheap. I mean, $10, $15 cover price. These are dirt cheap books that you will be thoroughly entertained in. This comes with the OmniDog. Oh, I don't have the seal with me. The OmniDog paw print of approval. I guarantee you will like Postal. I guarantee it. It is excellent.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I do dig the whole premise of like a town of just killers. It's intriguing right off the bat.
Yeah, and it's all kinds of different criminals that have gone there to, try and get their act together and just live in peace and harmony. But, they're still criminals at heart. And so the mayor has to rule with an iron hand. And she's a pretty tough cookie. and her son is the mailman with Asperger's, and he actually goes through everybody's mail because there's not really an official mail system because they're off the grid. So I'm not even really sure how the mail gets there. Now that I think about it, I should have. How does the mail get there if they're off the grid? Somehow it gets there without an address or something. I can't remember, but there's one sequence where he goes through everybody's mail and he rips open a box and there's somebody's severed head in the box. Obviously, somebody's sending a message to somebody.
Maybe it's a P.O. box. Maybe it's just like a giant P.O. box.
I forget. I'll have to go over the first trade paperback again and see how it is they get mail, because they're I think there's like a payphone in town, and that's how they talk to each other or something.
Oh my God, payphone.
Yeah, I don't know, something crazy, but they're but yeah, it's fantastic.
That sounds awesome. That's definitely going on my to pick up list right now.
Yeah, I think you'd really dig it.
Yeah, I just ordered Flintstones. Had to order Flintstones. I've been wanting to read it for a long time, and I completely forgot it came out.
Yeah.
I read the first issue, fell in love with it, and Riley says it only gets better from there. And Mark Russell, he's doing Snagglepuss, right?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that too.
Yeah, did you see the preview pages of it?
Like, I did. Yeah, it was great.
It's very intelligent. Like, it's very high-minded stuff. I can't wait.
Yeah.
And I think they said in this, Snagglepuss is, like, gay. He is confirmed to be gay in this, correct?
He's like a Tennessee Williams character, yeah.
Right. So I'm very much looking forward to that. But Postal sounds fantastic, dude. Did you read anything else?
That was it. That's really all the time I had. I read on the plane out and back, and that's really all the time I had.
Did you get a chance to crack open Dreams and Shadows?
I did not. I downloaded it, but I didn't get a chance.
Okay. I'm interested to hear your thoughts on it.
Okay. I will definitely read it.
You being a fan of mythology and things like that.
Yeah. Now, it does start out Once Upon a Time. That sort of threw me off.
It does. No, it does. It does.
No.
Stick with it. No, stick with it. I'm telling you.
Okay.
It starts off like that, but I'm telling you, stick with it. I like it.
Okay. What did you read?
Me, the only thing that I really had time to read, it's been a busy week for me because, like I said, we are knee deep. And as a teacher, we are knee deep right now in testing, and it's just a giant pain. The next 2 weeks are going to be ridiculous for me. Hence the reason why like updates and videos on this channel have been so sporadic, because I've been just testing kids like crazy. But I got actually a chance to reread Witches.
That's right.
Yeah, I reviewed Witches this past week for those of you that checked it out on my channel. Really solid book all the way. Story is worth a buy. However, the overall package, I'm giving it as a borrow. And the reason behind that is because Matt Hollingsworth, who is a master colorist, he's a really, really, really great colorist. I'm not taking anything away from him. They decided to go with this really stylistic choice where have you read Witches?
Yeah, I have.
Okay, so you know what I'm about to talk about.
Yeah.
Where they've got like this really splattered type of image where they just kind of throw paint and throw bubbles and throw splatter on certain images. And it's at a point sometimes where I think it's a bit too much. Like he just went a little bit too crazy with it, and it detracts from the image completely. And for me, it makes it actually hard to tell what the hell is going on. And this Jock on art, like Jock, you know, Jock is one of those guys right now who he's been doing a lot of promotional stuff. He did a lot of the promotional artwork for Dread. He has a Dread art book out, if I'm not mistaken, or something along that line. And I love Jock's artwork, but to see it kind of just, in a way, muddied, which I guess I get the tone that they were going for, but to see it so muddied in this book, it definitely took something away from me. I would have preferred for them not to have gone with that splattered look and just left it as it is.
Well, the story is certainly freaky. It's one of the better skin crawlers out there, I think. Oh,
no, it really is. This is Scott Snyder, for those of you out there that don't know. Scott Snyder wrote Batman. He's written American Vampire, which if you have not read American Vampire, everything up until second cycle, I think, is fantastic. Was not a fan of the stuff after second cycle. At least that's for me. And that book is on hiatus right now, I think, for a while.
I think so too. He wrote Severed too, another good horror story.
Severed was good. He wrote Severed: The Wake, which I think is great up until the ending because it felt a little bit rushed. I loved it, and in the ending it was like, well, this and this and this and this and this and this is what's going on. I'm like, well, shit, you could have easily gone another 4 or 5 issues and spread that out a little bit more, but I guess they were in crunch time. You know, he had Sean Murphy doing the art and that, and Sean Murphy's a busy guy.
Yeah, that was a way disappointing ending for me.
Yeah. And there are fans out there that say Scott Snyder is not the best at sticking a landing. I see it, but I love his Batman run. And Witches, this first volume in particular, is really good. It gets under your skin a lot. It basically deals with this family called the Rooks family, who they move into New Hampshire. Something tragic happened with their daughter. And basically they discover that in this town there are people that they sacrifice other humans in what is called a pledge. And if you sacrifice somebody in a pledge, you get something in return from these witches that they live in the forest. And when you think about witches, you get this image automatically of like a Disney princess or, you know, somebody with a hook nose or anything like that. These witches are fierce. They are hideous, and they live inside trees. And they are very, 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 very effective in terms of scaring you and getting under your skin.
Yeah.
I dug the hell out of this. I also like the fact that if you've read this in single issues, Scott Snyder had like a whole bunch of essays and things like that talking about where he got the inspiration and some of the things that happened to him in his childhood that led to the creation of this. That's all included in here, so that was really good as well. But yeah, that about does it as far as what I read. Now, I think in terms of what we picked up this week, we all basically picked up some of the same stuff.
Right.
So I'll let you go first.
Well, I'm sure you picked this up.
Of course.
Okay, so everybody picked up Legion.
Legion Omnibus.
I picked up a bunch of stuff that other people didn't, but I'll go over the things first that people did buy. Obviously, that Prelude to War of Kings.
I got that one as well. Had to get that one. Now the Marvel. Right. I love the fact that the modern day Marvel Cosmic Saga is now collected in all omnibus formats. Granted, Annihilation's a pain in the ass to find, but it's all there.
Right.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm in the fall. I'm gonna do my Cosmic read through after I do my Hellboy read through. Mm-hmm. I also got Iron Fist: The Living Weapon complete collection. I hadn't read this at all, but I heard it was really good, so I wanted to read that. A book called Damsels, which I collected in floppies, and it's classic fairy tales that have a modern twist to them, and the artwork's really good, and I remember enjoying it in single form, but it's fairy tale damsels that go to war, and it's all your favorites: Red Riding Hood, Little Mermaid. And it's I'm looking forward to reading it again, because they're hardly damsels in distress in this book. They're pretty fierce. Let's see, and then I picked up the entire Manhunter collection.
Ooh,
Manhunter. So I picked up 5 volumes of it, of Manhunter, because I haven't read it, but I've heard fabulous things about it. So I'm looking forward to that. And I picked up 2nd volume of Martian Manhunter.
How is that? That's the New 52 stuff, right? DCU, I think is what it was called.
DCU, yeah, that's what it is. I liked the first volume enough that I wanted to get the 2nd volume.
I heard that was one of the stronger titles.
It is, yeah. And then Batman Superman Volume 6, the hardcover.
Mhm.
Future Quest, which
Gio's
is Hanna-Barbera.
Yeah, Gio's been pimping that out like crazy.
Yeah, I bought it specifically because Gio said to, so I did. And then at Half Price Books with Riley, and I think with Raleigh Smith and Beto, I picked up the 4 issues of Vertigo's The Exterminators. I'd been reading about it recently. On the page, the premise sounded really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And at Half Price Books, I got all 4 books for a total of about $20, if that.
It's a good
Yeah,
pickup.
I paid about $5 a book. So that was good. That was a good score at Half Price Books, which is not always half price. I saw a $16 copy of Psylocke for $60. So I think that was with Raleigh. And we also saw an in-print copy of Hellboy 1 Library Edition for $100. And Raleigh and I just sort of looked at each other and said, what's the deal? Why is that $100? You can get that on in-stock trades for like 20 or something crazy. So
something cheap, yeah.
And the last thing I got was a Kickstarter, and I haven't opened it yet, but I can show you the print that came with it. A book called Scurry that several of us got. I know Lewis McGregor, another Welsh bastard, Daniel McBride, he got it too.
It looks nice.
And here's some of the artwork, a print that came with it.
Wow.
I can't even remember what the premise is. I just remember somebody excitedly saying, this stuff's great. Go for it on Kickstarter. And of course, I just went, okay. So
sure, why not?
That's what I did. Yeah.
That's a good little haul that you got there, man. That Kickstarter book looked really interesting. I like it.
I'm excited. I know Lewis and Daniel were both excited to get it and sign on to it. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, just got a message from Riley. He'll be on in a few minutes. He's changing.
Into what?
I don't know.
A nice guy? Oh, sorry.
Oh, no. Ooh.
Ooh, sick burn, Jess.
No. Somebody's asking if anybody's bought the Velvet hardcover, which I'm surprised you haven't gotten it.
I do have it, but I think I don't know. I didn't talk about it already. Maybe I got it last week and just never got the chance to talk about it.
Oh, okay.
I did get it.
Yeah, I need to pick that up and read it. Ed Brubaker junkie over here.
Oh yeah,
I think,
right here.
Ryan Sace was talking to me in the chat about it. He said I think he told me he loved it a few days ago.
Yeah, I think he told me the same thing. I agree. Anything Brubaker writes, I'm in on.
Yeah, I still need to. I'm waiting for the Killer Be Killed hardcover. I've heard really good things about Killer Be Killed, so I'm looking forward to that one.
I read the first trade. It's excellent.
Is it really?
It was one of the better things I've read by him.
Yeah.
And I've read a lot by him. The whole idea was just amazing.
Yeah, last year's, what was it that he did last year? The wow, why am I blanking?
Fade Out?
The Fade Out was one of the highlights for me last year. The Fade Out.
Yeah, I agree.
Really, that was
so great. Yeah.
And it's a nice little collection too. If you don't have the Fade Out hardcover, that was oof. That was in probably my top 5 of my favorite books last year.
Yeah, I think it was in my top 10 last year. I think definitely.
Somebody's saying that Gabe is a sex icon. Well, that's obvious. Come on, it's
a
Gabe.
Sex icon?
Yeah, it's Gabe. He's a sex icon.
Where is that?
It's in the chat. Okay, so I mean, as far as what I picked up this week, I obviously just ordered the Flintstones. Thanks, Jess, for reminding me. I picked up the Legion Omnibus, like everybody else. I have not cracked it open yet. I really want to. I've been flipping through the art, and it looks great. Put a preview video of that earlier this week. And, of course, picked up the War of Kings. This, I was surprised, actually, how big this was when I got it. And it's got actually a good amount of special features in the back of it. I was really surprised.
Oh, it does?
Yeah, I was really
what?
surprised. Sketches. Here, let me take a look. Like character bios and things like that. Interviews. Things like that. I was really surprised, which I think, if I'm not mistaken, all this stuff was originally found in the original trade paperbacks. So I don't know if this is something that's just exclusive to this or if it's something that they decided to add on. I'm not entirely sure.
Okay. Cool.
Hey, look, Banshee. I didn't know Banshee was in this. One of the few Irish men. So, okay. We're just going to go ahead and jump into this. We're going to wait for, we're going to get Riley into this. Okay.
I'm going to plug in my PS4 tomorrow, Ryan.
Are you really?
Yeah, I really am. I'm making this a public statement. I'm plugging it in, and I'm going to play Last of Us tomorrow. I got nothing on my plate tomorrow, except for taxes, and it's not an issue. I will plug that thing in and play it tomorrow. And I'll give you a full report on the news on Saturday.
All right. I'm still waiting for the Planet of the Apes movie. I'm still waiting on that.
I know you are.
The new one's coming out soon, man.
I know. I need to get on that. I want to see Prometheus still.
Oh, that's right. You still haven't seen Prometheus. Yeah, watch Planet of the Apes first. They're better films.
Okay.
They're a lot better. So, yeah, we're going to go ahead and just jump right into this. Okay, so con season is upon us. I love conventions. I've been going to conventions for the better part. I'm 27, 13 years at this point, since I was about 14, 13, in that ballpark, since I was a really little kid. I've been going to cons. I love them. Whoa, there we go.
Hey, what's up?
Of course, he's wearing the Space Jam shirt.
Come on and slam.
I've seen that room. I've been in that room.
I've seen that Jess. Not been in that Jess, though.
That's right.
Well, thankfully. Whoa.
Are we live?
We
Yes.
are.
Yes, we are.
I'm looking for the link. Did you give a link to the YouTube so I can read comments?
You knew. Hold on.
It's on the group.
It's in the group.
I'm looking.
What are you eating?
I'm eating a sandwich.
There you go.
Where?
I found it from Schlotsky's.
Oh, okay.
Schlotsky's?
That's what they brought for my my meeting at work.
I've never even heard of Schlotsky's.
It's like a fast food deli type place out there, right?
Yeah, kind of.
That sounds.
It's really good. They have really good bread.
That sounds amazing right now. I'm not gonna lie. I'm starving right now.
I just saw someone ask what I read and bought. Did y'all just go through your list or something?
We
Yes,
just
sir.
did. Yeah, so go
We're
right ahead.
actually just about to jump into the main topic. Go right ahead, though.
So, I guess Jess probably talked about the fact that we went on an adventure,
Yep.
and I guess I'll talk about what I got during that adventure. Where did we go?
Where didn't we go?
What did I get?
You mean, well, you got something at Half Price Books, didn't you?
So, we went to Austin Books and Comics, and I got a couple posters. One of them is the Joker cover from the Detective Comics Black Mirror run.
I knew you were gonna say that. That's such an iconic cover. Is that the that's Jock, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I used to have the actual comic, but I sold it because I'd rather have it really big in poster size on my wall. So
That's such a great image. People have got that tattooed on them.
the other one I got was the it matches the two that I have on my wall right now of the X-Men, the Alex Ross stuff up there. And it's like got the all new, all different X-Men on it, so like Storm and all that. But that's what I meant to buy, but I realized that I accidentally grabbed the wrong poster.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Oh,
and I
no.
accidentally grabbed Years of Future Past by Art Adams.
So, are you going to take it back?
I'm gonna see if I can go back there and exchange it for the right one. I don't know. If I can't, then whatever. I have a poster that I'm not gonna use. Not that I dislike that image, it's just not what I wanted for the motif I have going on.
Right.
You know. And then after that, we went to a couple of the half-price books, and I got. Oh, I remember what I got now. I was excited. And Jess, I'm saving the best item for last.
Okay.
Okay, let's see.
We were literally two kids in a candy store because we went to a candy store.
We did. We went to a candy store. We went to like a random knickknack store, and Jess found some prints. I don't know if you mentioned those, the Bombshells prints.
I didn't. Yeah, they were Bombshells prints that I'd never seen before. They were really cool.
And then when we were going in there, we noticed that there was a barbershop, and we both needed a haircut. So we got haircuts together.
Hey, that's a bonding experience you can never take away from.
That's right.
And then and we also went to the candy store that was on the other side of the barbershop and got a bunch of candy.
That was an amazing candy store.
Yeah, they had a lot of cool stuff there.
Another cool bonding experience with a
I've got the first we went to 3 different half-price books. And the first one I found 2 books. The first one I grabbed was Invincible Iron Man Execute Program. This is the trade paperback that follows Extremis immediately, and it contains issues 7 through 12, which come before the upcoming Iron Man Director of S.H.I.E.L.D. Complete Collection. So I was glad to find that so I could fill in that gap because I did plan on buying that upcoming book. And this, I looked online, it usually goes for over cover price, like $20+ and I got it for half, so I got it for $7.50. I felt good about that. And then I also found Howard the Duck Media Duckling. This is a 4-issue miniseries written by Ty Templeton with art by Juan Bobillo, I guess, maybe. This includes the 4-issue miniseries plus some material from one of the older Howard the Duck comics and material from Choosing Sides, which was a Civil War tie-in. So this is cool. One of the few Howard the Duck things I don't own or have not read. So I'm excited about that. It also goes for a little bit more than cover price online, and I got it for like $10. And then Jess probably showed off that he grabbed the Exterminators. I also grabbed Exterminators. I grabbed volumes 1 through 3 at the second half-price books that we went to.
He got them even cheaper than I did.
I don't know. I think we got them the same. It's because I got like one of them was $5 and one of them was $6 and one of them was $7.
Oh, okay.
I still need to get the 4th one though. And then the last half-price books that we went to, excuse me, I grabbed volumes 3 through 6 of Yu Yu Hakusho, which is a manga series that I've read the majority of, but I never owned it, and I always wanted to own it because I love the series, I loved the anime. So I told myself anytime I see it at half-price books, I'll go ahead and grab it because each of them's less than $4. So I was pretty happy with that.
What was the book? What was the book that you left behind at that half-price books?
I'm not going to say that because then someone else is going to get it.
That's true. At some random half-price book somewhere in Texas, Riley left behind a book that was like $4 over cover that is like a complete waylette, and he's like, I'm just going to wait till it just sits here and sits here and sits here, and they put it out. I'm like, Riley, it's $4 over cover. I'll give you $4 so you can go buy it.
When it sits in the glass rare bookcase for a while, they lower the price, and this one had already been lowered multiple times. But I've seen it there. This book, I've seen it there for like as long as I've been going to that location. So I'm like, I'm just gonna wait it out. I'm gonna play the game. I'm gonna play this, the Wicked game and see what happens. And I'm, I think that I'll come out on top. We'll see.
I'm gonna be very interested to hear how this story ends.
The final thing that I received during the Riley and Jess's bogus journey was Jess brought me I did not expect this at all.
Oh yeah.
The fourth oversized hardcover of Punisher Max, and I'm still kind of like speechless and astonished that this has happened. That I finally have all 6 volumes on my shelf, and not only that, but that I was given this as a gift.
That was the one you were missing. Yeah, I remember you were talking about that months ago. Like you really were holding out on reading it.
Yeah, because I started reading it and I was like, I think I'm just gonna hold out. I'm gonna wait until I can get the last one, see what happens. And it was funny because a little while ago, there was a few of the guys in the group that had found a copy and were gonna like pitch in and get it for me. And I was like, oh, dope, that's awesome. And it never happened, and I just assumed maybe it fell through, like someone else had grabbed it before they got it. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't upset or anything. And then Jess told me that the reason that fell through was because he told them, "Don't buy it. I already got it for him." So
I was furiously PMing like 4 different people. Please don't buy it. I already got it for him. Make up something. Tell him a lie, but don't get it.
They didn't tell me anything, but that was good enough for me. As far as things that I've read, I've been reading some. I'm about a month behind on Marvel issues, so I've been catching up on some of that stuff. I read like all of the recent X-Men stuff except for this week's issues. And I have to say I've been pretty pleased with the Resurrection so far that I've read. Outside of the controversial artwork in X-Men Gold.
God, that issue.
Riley has a T-shirt actually with that same phrase on it, the QS phrase on it.
Oh yeah,
he wore it on Monday.
Is he really?
No.
But I mean that doesn't affect the issue whatsoever. If you weren't looking for that stuff, you wouldn't even notice.
Yeah, because it's stuck in the background. So if you don't look for it, it's like, oh, okay.
So it doesn't affect the story. It's really interesting. I really dug X-Men Gold. Basically, Kitty's back to the X-Men, and now she's leading the team. And they throw a little fun twist into it where she's kind of given the responsibility to financially figure out how to support them. And they've set up shop. Really mild spoilers, but it's the first issue, so whatever. But they set up shop in the middle of Central Park. And some guy comes and he's like, "Oh, here's your rent and bills." She's like, "This is like $6 billion," and he's like, "Yeah, because you're in the middle of Central Park." Fuck. So I thought that was funny, but
it kind of. I'm sorry.
I haven't read it in blue yet, though, so I'll see about that.
It kind of seems like they were kind of heading that direction, though, with the Wolverine and the X-Men stuff with Jason Aaron, because she became headmaster, or I'm not sure how that's said, of the school, and she was running things with Wolverine.
Yeah, and then she left, went into space.
Oh God!
With the Guardians, briefly.
Yeah, I remember that.
Was engaged to Peter Quill, broke that off,
and
then came back, and now she's finally back with the X-Men. But it was a fun issue. I dug it. That's and then the only physical book that I collected book that I read was Hunter x Hunter Volume 33. Still continuing on really well with that manga series. It's still one of my favorites. That volume starts up kind of a new arc, but it's very slow going because the creator is pretty much always ill, and he makes like 10 issues and then takes like a 2-month hiatus. So I don't know when I'm going to read the next volume. I'll probably catch up online or something. I don't know. But it's a good series. I think that's all that I've read and all that I bought. I mean, I did get a few things in the mail, but you guys have probably talked about those things already that I got as well.
Actually, we didn't talk about that book that you specifically got that you thought was stolen from your doorstep.
Oh, yeah.
What happened?
Well, I didn't think it was stolen. My wife did. Because the package came in and she said that she saw someone on our camera drop the package off. And then she saw someone like with a package. And I was like, did you get 2 packages? I don't know what's going on. Because our camera wasn't facing downward enough to see the package on the ground. And she was like, well, you should go check. So I wasn't too worried about it, but Jess is like, yeah, let's go check. So we went back, and it was there, and it was just the box with my Daredevil by Ed Brubaker Volume 1.
Oh, okay.
So the reprint of that, according to Jess, it's a lot thinner than the original. I expected that. It's about the same thickness as the Mark Waid Omnibus that came out recently. Maybe a little bit thinner than that one. But on top of that, I mean, I got all the stuff from that week. Like, what else came out? Road to War of Kings.
Legion.
X-Men Legacy. I think I got a few paperbacks. I got Chew, the 7th or the 6th volume of Chew in hardcover. Some other stuff. I don't know. Too many books. I think I got a volume of manga somewhere as well. I just don't remember which one was in there. But whatever it was a good package. It was definitely a good package.
Have you read any more Berserk?
Huh?
Have you read any more Berserk?
I finished whatever volume I was on last week.
I think you said volume 7, I think is what you told me.
I think, yeah, that sounds about right. And I have volume 8 sitting on my nightstand. Yeah. But I was also reading through some other stuff real quick. Like, I got the Zelda Twilight Princess adaptation, so I was reading that. And then I got the first volume of Boruto, the sequel to Naruto. Mm-hmm. So I guess I was going to flip through that real quick too.
Cool beans.
I was also able to sit in on watching Riley play Zelda for half an hour. That was really cool. I hadn't seen it live.
Not because I made him watch, but Jess actually asked if we could see some footage.
Yeah. I watched him go on a quest for, what'd you end up finding? A special blade?
I found the shield.
Oh, special shield.
Did you?
Yeah, I found the Hylian shield.
Wow, I still haven't found it.
Yeah, so the game was really, really cool. I can see why everybody loves it so much.
Yeah, I love the game, and the problem is that the Switch is hard to find now. Like they're sold out everywhere, and they continue to be sold out everywhere. And as kind of a side, if you're somebody that wanted to get a NES Classic, like the little classic system that came out a few months ago, Nintendo is discontinuing them. They're not going to make any more.
Is that what's right behind you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Yeah, they're not making any more. Which sucks because they came out in November and nobody could find one. The supply was so limited, and Nintendo being Nintendo is like, yeah, well, we're not going to make any more.
Wow.
On the bright side, I can probably flip this thing because I was just looking at prices when we started the show for about $250 right now.
And it come? I'm having a hard time. It came preloaded with a bunch of games.
30 games, but I've hacked it, I've modded it, and I have a whole bunch of stuff on there now.
Oh, cool!
Yeah,
that's really cool.
I just have an NES. I just have the regular one, and I have to put the cartridges in.
Yeah, me too.
And you have to blow on them sometimes.
Right.
But actually, don't blow on your cartridges because it'll ruin the pins.
Yeah, it's terrible for it.
What you're supposed to do is wipe it down with a cotton swab with alcohol.
Mm-hmm. I used to do both as a kid.
I've done after I started learning about those types of things, I went through and I refurbished all of my games. I opened them up, I cleaned them out, put them back together, and then I refurbished all of my systems, my NES, my SNES, and my N64. But I didn't touch any of the disk systems, only the cartridge-based systems, because they're all very easy to put back together. If you unplug all the components, it's very easy to figure out where everything goes. I also manually I upgraded my N64 controllers to have the joystick of a GameCube controller because the GameCube controller's joystick has more mobility.
That's really cool.
I told Luis about the toy museum we went to and the games we played there.
The X-Men game that didn't make any sense.
Either I was stupid or my controller was stupid or a combination of both. I just could not get it to work. I didn't even know what the goal was.
If you guys ever come down here to Orlando, there's a bar, and they serve non-alcoholic stuff as well, called Player One. And all they have is, it's like an arcade bar. It's just old retro games, and it's a pretty big spot. And they're all free. Like, you can play them as much as you want.
Yeah, this thing had classic arcade games like Donkey Kong and Centipede and Galaga and Asteroids. And Riley played Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was a lot of arcade games there.
I used to love those old Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles games.
Yeah, he was actually kicking ass in it.
I mean, anyone from our generation went to Chuck E. Cheese and wasted all your quarters on that.
That's so true. I keep forgetting you're younger than me.
I'm just a little bit. I think I'm like a year younger.
Yeah. I've always thought you were kind of like the same age, or like 1 or 2 years older than me.
But I mean, we used to go, and it was especially great when you had all your friends because, of course, 4 people could play as all 4 turtles and just kick ass in that game.
Raphael.
I think I was Leonardo when I was there the other day.
And I knew not to try and get in on the game because I'd just F it up. He was doing fine on his own.
Well, I dropped it because we needed to go do other things, like eat a lot of food.
That was ridiculous, man. Some of those pictures, I was like, that looks like diabetes on a plate.
Oh, we had the best time.
When we walked into the candy store, I believe that's what you said is, smells like diabetes.
That candy store was unreal. It was amazing. It was huge.
Somebody's asking, has anybody in Orlando been to Super Saiyan? Yes, I have, and it's just a gimmick.
What is that?
It's a ramen place that is basically the whole theme of the restaurant is Dragon Ball Z. So it's called Super Saiyan. And the ramen is always sold out. They never have anything because everybody shows up there because they're all there for the gimmick. And the ramen's not even that good, to be honest. It's pretty mediocre stuff. If you want to get good ramen, there's a place off of Mills. It's a little mom and pop Vietnamese restaurant. And it's one of those where you cook the ramen in front of you. And it is amazing. I love it. I can't remember the name of it, but I'm going there tomorrow night.
There's a good one out here called Ramen Tatsuya.
We didn't go there?
We drove past it about 15 times on the first day.
I got to know Austin well. We drove all over the place.
We wouldn't have driven so much, but Megan insisted both days that I dropped her off at work beforehand. And I'm like, dude, you're really cramping my style here. Like that, especially that the first day, because we had to go get her for lunch and then go drop her back off after lunch, and it was very much going out of the way.
Yeah, you guys have one car?
No,
we have 2 cars.
Oh,
she just wanted to have me drop her off. I have no idea, no reason, no reasonable idea why.
See, my girl works at a theme park, so for us, it's a pain in the ass. It's like a 40-minute drive from my house to get to her. So it's no, I'm sorry, I love you. You've got your own car. I'll do it if I have to, but I really don't want to. I hate going out to the theme parks. Okay, so the main topic tonight is conventions. So I'm going to actually start off with, what was your first convention, if you remember it?
I think it was 1974. I went to San Diego.
Oh, you went to the King of Kings when it was not the King of Kings back in the day, when it was just a bunch of nerds in like a garage.
That's pretty much it. Yeah. I remember my parents dropped me off and I spent the day there just looking at all the different vendors, and I couldn't afford you know, Action Comics #1 at $1,000 or whatever it was. I don't know. I couldn't afford much, but I did buy a bunch of beat up old Silver Age issues. Not beat up. I guess they were in very fine condition, but they were like $1 a piece. So I just bought a bunch of Silver Age comics, and it was easy to navigate. And I didn't even know to negotiate. I just paid whatever they had as a price. So, but yeah, it was nothing but comic vendors, and it was pretty big for me at 15 years old. It was a large venue, I mean, but it was all comic books, and I haven't been back since. So I know it's unrecognizable to me now.
I've all but given up on going, unless for some miracle I get like a press pass within the next few years. But one, the hotels are ridiculous, and two, it's just a madhouse to get in there. I think tickets went on sale this week, and people were in the Facebook group were talking about getting tickets, and like very few of them actually got snagged.
Yeah. So that was my first con.
I don't remember what year mine was, but it was the Wizard World Con here in Austin. Before I lived here, I visited for a weekend when Megan was going to school here, and I remember just bringing like a backpack with several single issues that I looked online and was like, oh, this artist's going to be there, this writer's going to be there, and I got a bunch of different stuff signed. And then I don't remember what I bought, if I bought anything at the show. I'm trying to think, because I don't think I did, but I remember getting like something from Greg Capullo, and Tyler Kirkham was there, and a bunch of other people that I met, and it was fun. It was cool. It wasn't huge. And I spent most of the time just like looking at random stuff, like all the different vendors who had weird items that they made themselves or that they imported from other countries. And Megan was with me too. And I recall walking in, there was a girl, dressed as Poison Ivy walking in front of us. And I was like looking because her costume looked really uncomfortable because there was a vine going like up her butt crack. And Megan got really mad at me because she was like, why are you looking at her butt? And I was like, because her costume looks hella uncomfortable.
My first con, man, I was 14 at the time, so this was like 13 years ago. It was MegaCon. I've gone every year since then. I got the bug there. And this was the year when, for those of you that were in Orlando, this was the year when MegaCon wasn't sure if they were going to actually continue. This was before like the comic book movie boom and things like that. It was a while before it was touch and go, where almost nobody was showing up. It was easy to walk around, granted, but nobody was showing up. Vendors really weren't showing up. A lot of people were starting to drop out. And now MegaCon is pretty much the biggest South Florida convention that you can go to. It's insane how big that convention has blown up over the past few years. But I remember it very fondly. I remember for my first time going, I got a Saturday ticket. And I was like, well, let me check this out. I don't know if it'll be for me or anything like that. I was just starting to get back into comics and things. And I immediately bought a Sunday ticket that same day. I fell in love with it. I also did the speed dating. That was fun.
Speed dating at the con?
What?
Yeah. Yeah, the speed dating at the con that year. They do every year at the convention. They do sci-fi speed dating. Yeah, me and my brother went head to head on who could get the most numbers that day.
And were they numbers from people that you wanted to call?
No.
Okay, that's what
not one.
Okay.
Yeah, I sat in a chair in front of a girl, and the first thing she told me was, "Look, I'm just here to fuck." I'm like, "Next, please."
Somebody said that at a Comic-Con?
Yeah, I mean, it was sci-fi speed dating. I just sat in front. She just said, "I'm just here to fuck." I'm like, "All right, well then, I'm good. No thanks." She wasn't that attractive anyway.
Yeah. I don't even know what to say to that. Wow, you got me speechless.
And now I'm about to get like 30 feminist messages. Moving along. But yeah, that was my first experience at a con. I loved it. I continue to go every single year. There's something about the atmosphere, about going to a convention and just being around thousands of people that they are into this stuff, that they like to cosplay, that they like anime, they like manga, they like comic books. There's just something about that, because this hobby, for a lot of us, it's a very solitary hobby.
Yeah.
So, you know, not all of us, not all my friends read comics. Not all of my friends are into anime or into the stuff that I'm into. So it's really cool to actually get out there and just meet people and see people that are really into the same things that you are. So I decided let's do something kind of like a do and don't. Some of the do's and some of the don'ts that you do at a convention. I think universally one of the first things that we can agree on is look, don't touch. If you see a girl in a cosplay outfit and it's kind of skimpy or kind of scandalous, don't touch them. Please don't be that guy, because I've seen it at cons. And guess what? They get kicked out and they get arrested. And you just ruined that girl's day.
Yeah, that's one thing that has definitely changed since my early nerd days, is that there are more families at cons and shows, and there are a lot more girls or women at shows, because it used to be nothing but guys, and nothing but guys, and maybe their wives behind the table selling books or something, or girlfriends or something. But cosplay, I don't even remember that existed at that San Diego con. But I think that's a relatively recent phenomenon. But you're exactly right. You can't. It's okay to take a picture with their permission.
With their permission.
With their permission, yeah. But otherwise, they're strictly there to have fun, and you're 100% right. You got to respect them.
Yeah, because was probably 3 years ago. This guy was wearing an Obama shirt. He was drunk off his ass, and he ended up fondling a minor.
Oh.
Yeah. Cops came in and they arrested him.
Wow.
Yeah. A lack of coverage and more skin showing does not mean
exactly.
You know, hey, come here, you can do what you want. No, there are people that deserve just as much respect as anyone else that's out there, no matter how much clothes they're wearing, no matter who they're dressed as, no matter what the personality of the character that they're emulating, that they're dressing as is. That doesn't mean that they are the same way. So the best thing that you can do is, like y'all said, go up and ask them, you know, hey, I really love your costume. Do you mind if I get a picture with you or a picture of you? And like 99% of the time, they're totally cool with it because they're dressing up to get that kind of attention.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
The positive kind of attention is what I mean by that. But that's definitely a good pointer.
Yeah, and not only that, a lot of these people, they spend hours and weeks on cosplays. I've got friends that they do cosplays, and they started getting ready for MegaCon is next month, and they've started in, I want to say February, mapping out everything, purchasing supplies, getting everything ready, building stuff, building props. So they busted their ass for months on end just for this weekend.
And definitely on that note, be respectful of the costume itself, because in that fact that they spend so much time and money creating it, you know, don't try to touch their wings and their like weapons. Don't, like, maybe ask them like, hey, could I touch this? And they'll tell you yeah, or no, sorry, it's actually fragile, I'd rather you not.
A lot of that
like,
stuff breaks easily.
Yeah, that's obviously, you know, they don't want that to happen to something they put so much work into.
That's another thing that's changed. Yeah, that's another thing that I've noticed recently that's changed from early shows, is that there's a weapons check-in whenever you go to a show. Whenever you go to a con, you have to check your weapon in. So Thor's bringing his hammer in, and Link's bringing his big sword in and stuff. So I always get a kick out of the fact that there's a weapons check-in.
Well, they do that now at all the conventions I attend to, simply because they want to keep things safe, and they want to make sure everybody has fun. And they've all but banned basically almost everything metal at MegaCon, at the one I go to.
I'm sure they will do that at Awesome Con this year, and probably Baltimore too.
Yeah, I've seen it at the ones I go to as well, and it's always fun because you walk past and it's like right at the entrance, and you just see all these weapons sitting.
Yeah. I know, it's a crap.
Oh, I recognize that. I know whose sword that is. Oh man.
Yeah, last year I walked by like that booth that you were talking about, where they've just got a whole bunch of stuff, and I looked at it and I talked to the security guy and I went, "Is that a real machete?" He goes, "Yeah. Somebody thought they could get away with bringing it at the con."
Oh my gosh.
I don't get it.
Well, I think this leads into the next rule from the cosplay one, and that is treat people like you want to be treated.
Basic common sense.
Yeah, especially creators. Well, anybody around you, any vendor, but especially creators that you're trying to get signatures from or drawings from. Remember, they're sitting there all day long or for 3 hours at a time, and be respectful of their time. Don't monopolize their time. There's somebody behind you in line that wants their time too. A lot of times there's a time limit. There's always a signing limit of items. Don't be that guy that wants 5 items signed when there's a limit of 3. Remember, there's people behind you that want as much attention as you're getting. So I have a feeling we're going to be saying don't be that guy a lot today. But yeah, don't be that guy that messes up the people behind you in line, and respect the creator. And, you know, it's okay to chat with them a little bit, get the signatures, take a picture. George Perez is famous for being like the friendliest guy and being happy to pose for a picture with you.
Oh yeah.
But not everybody's going to be that way, and you have to, you know, approach everybody gingerly. But I am hoping that George Perez is going to be. I think he's going to be at Baltimore. If he is, that's on my bucket list. I want a picture with George Perez because he just looks like he's having fun no matter what.
Perez is like that. Capullo is like that. Capullo is one of those guys where he actually he had a long line, but he talked to me for like a good 5 minutes, just like shooting the shit. And I was like, wow, this guy is genuinely a really cool dude.
Yeah.
I was talking about, like, I think it was his wife or something, or his sister-in-law, who was from Houston. And when he asked me, oh, where are you from? I'm from Houston. And then he's like, oh yeah, she's from Houston, blah, 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 blah. And yeah, we just kind of shot the shit for a second. And I asked him, like, oh, would it be cool if I got like a tiny sketch or something? And I gave him a sketchbook, and he just did a little bitty Batman in there.
Yeah.
This is Capullo?
Yeah, Capullo. But I don't know if you said this as part of that statement, but like, don't be the one who brings 50 issues for the guy to sign.
Okay,
Yeah.
If you're the guy that brings the wagon, like the little kid, we all hate you. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, that is really the guy that was in front of me at Capullo had like every issue of like Spawn and like all the other Image books around the time that I think like the Creech or something.
Yeah,
he did.
This is pre-Batman, I'm guessing.
Pit, I believe he worked on Pit.
Yeah.
I don't know, but all the different books, and it was like at least 50 issues, and he asked him to sign all of them.
Oh my gosh.
Too nice, and he said okay.
He said okay to that?
Yeah, he did all of them, and
Yeah.
He was doing it in different colors too, to like accent with whatever the colors on the comic were. And I was like, dude, seriously?
If I was behind that guy, it would have been United Airlines totally. I'd have beaten him and dragged him out of the line. That is uncool.
See, I saw actually Dan Slott. I saw him at a con one year where a guy did the same thing to him. Slott looked at him and said, okay, cool, but you stand over there, and I'm going to get to it when I can get to it because I have a whole line of people that are waiting for me. So as he's talking to people and he's signing stuff, he's also signing the other guy's stuff, and he's handing it off and throwing it into a corner.
That's a pretty decent way to do it.
Yeah.
I know some will just say like, hey, I've got a limit. I can do like 5 or
Yeah.
something is their limit. So I forget who told me about this, but someone told me that at a convention that Claremont was at, he said that, and then someone had to scramble to figure out which 5 X-Men comics they wanted to get signed.
Capullo was like that last year at MegaCon. His wife ran that booth like an iron fist. If she saw people coming up with like more than 5 books, she said, "Yeah, you're only allowed 5 books. I don't care. Put the stuff away. Pick 5 books, and that's it." The people were just bringing a whole bunch of stuff because he's a big name now. They were just bringing 30 or 40 issues for him to sign, and the line was starting to get out of control.
Yeah.
So don't be the wheelbarrow guy. Nobody likes you, and don't be the wagon guy.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna bring 15 Omnis for 15 different guys to sign, that's one thing. I mean, that's what Tyler Chu does. He brings a whole wagon load of Omnis, but he's gonna go to different places to get them signed. But yeah, don't be that guy in front of me. If you're that guy in front of me, you will hear from me. And there's no nerd out there I'm afraid of at all. So I don't care how big you are. Do not get in front of me at a con and ask for 35 things signed. You will totally hear from me.
Sounds like together me and Jess could take anyone down, because I'm the best at arguing, apparently.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I picked up on that hanging out with Riley. He's got a comeback for everything. I think we could totally beat somebody down verbally.
Yeah. As for like carrying around, if you're wanting to get books like Omnis signed, what I did, and this isn't for everyone because some people they want it signed on the inside of the book. At one convention, I just carried around all the dust jackets in a sleeve and just had like artists sign the front of the dust jacket.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, that isn't a bad idea.
There's a lot of backache for sure.
Yeah.
And it also prevented any, like, because I've brought Omnis around and I've had like a little corner ding and stuff, and I'm like, damn it.
I've lugged around Absolute Editions before in my backpack, and
oh my gosh,
yeah. And Darwin Cook, he looked at me and he said, "Jesus fucking Christ, are you crazy?" I brought the Parker Martini edition, and he starts laughing. He's like, "Look, I'm gonna throw a giant sketch in here just because you hauled this shit around all over."
That's right.
God, I miss Cook. He was such a good guy to talk to.
We focused on don'ts. Here's a do. Do pace yourself, because these places are, if you go to like Baltimore cons coming up, this is a serious con that covers a lot of territory, and you're going to want to pace yourself. Don't try and get everything all at once. I mean, take frequent breaks. If you're smart, you'll bring yourself some refreshments with you. They usually let that stuff in. I usually take sandwiches and water with me.
Yeah.
And make sure you take frequent breaks, sit down, relax, go play video games on your phone or whatever, and then get back up refreshed, or you'll get wiped out within 3 hours, or you'll get really cranky and not be fun to deal with. Because I know I'm plotting out ahead of time, once I get the map of where everybody's set up for Baltimore Con, and I'm going to divide it up into manageable chunks, because I suffer from sensory overload. You know, even if I go into a Target, I just go, oh God, I can't figure it out. There's too much input coming. So really pace yourself and try and concentrate on, you know, the things you really want to do first, the ancillary things that you want to do second, and don't let yourself get burnt out. And figure out where the bathrooms are.
That's a good rule.
Make sure to take some poop breaks.
Absolutely, yeah. That's a good rule of thumb. Try to map everything out that you want to do as best as you can. It makes it for a lot easier. It makes it a lot easier con.
Yeah.
And bring food, because that $13 slice of pizza is gonna taste real bad.
Yeah, and you could spend that $13 on something else.
Yeah, that's a very big one.
And bring hand sanitizer too.
Oh yeah,
I think that is a perfect segue into a point that I was gonna say.
Huh.
Is be fucking sanitary.
Please.
Like, take a shower that morning. Use deodorant. Wear
Kids.
clean clothes.
Brush your teeth.
Called deodorant, okay?
Yeah, bring an extra stick of deodorant.
Bring 4 if you need it.
In your fanny pack that you're carrying, whatever you have with you, just bring a stick of deodorant, because we all fucking get sweaty. It's okay. I have very active pits and I sweat a lot. And so when I'm doing active things like that, I will bring a stick of deodorant and just go to the bathroom and apply in the middle of the day.
An active shower does not count. Don't bathe yourself in Axe. It smells.
No, that's just
Axe.
You don't want to be the guy that's in line and everyone's like, I don't want to stand next to him because he smells like cheese and feet and BO. It's really gross. And you don't want to be the guy that, like, the person behind you in line, because you stand in a lot of lines and they can be long, they're just staring at your scalp and at all the dandruff and grease. You don't want to be that guy either.
Nobody likes that guy. I'm telling you right. Just shower, please. Just do us all a service. Like, I'm happy that you're at the con. I'm happy you're enjoying your time there. But at some point in those 4 or 3 days, take a goddamn shower, and a good one. Not just you hop in, get water, and then hop out.
Yeah. And make sure on top of that, dress comfortably. If you're not cosplaying, make sure to just wear the most comfortable clothes that you can.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be on your feet. You want to wear good shoes, some comfy socks. You want to have a nice shirt that's don't try to impress the ladies and wear a tight shirt to show off your pecs. Just wear a t-shirt. Go like Jess and wear a bowling shirt or a Hawaiian shirt.
Exactly.
Hey, you rock that bowling shirt though.
What's that?
Just the definition of comfort.
Yeah, no, dude, I saw you rocking that bowling shirt and those shorts, and I was like, that looks extremely comfortable while he was in Texas.
That is my life. That is how I dress.
And if you're going to cons in Texas summer, good luck.
Oof.
Yeah. If like I said, and also if you're going to cons in the Florida summer, I wish you the best of luck, especially if you're wearing all black. You will die.
Yeah. Virginia's no picnic in the summer either.
So basically, if you're going to a summer con, a good few days ahead of you.
Yeah.
As far as, what were you gonna say? I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say a quick do. If you're buying singles, if you're buying floppies, even if they're rare, I have not tried. You can probably try this with hardcovers and omnis or trades if you find them, but most vendors are willing to negotiate. The more you buy, the more they're willing to negotiate. I'm not talking about artists and writers now. I'm talking about vendors selling comic books. Always be throwing out a figure at them. You know, if it's $280 for the set you're looking at, say, will you take such and such? And a lot of times they'll say, well, no, but I'll take so-and-so, and you're on your way to meeting in the middle where you save money, he makes money, and you both end up happy. Because a lot of times these comics are priced for perfection, and they expect you to try and haggle. So don't be a jerk, but ask for 20, 25, 30% off and see what happens. Sometimes you'll run into somebody that'll just... I went to a con one time where a guy had a whole box of prime Silver Age stuff, and he just looked at me because he recognized me from previous shows, and he just goes, this whole box for you, 50% off.
Wow.
And I said, dude, I will take that box. And I just took the box, and it ended up being a full run of Miller Daredevil in it.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, this was back before it got collected, back before he was really famous. And now I'm sitting on several issues of, Elektra and Deadshot or Bullseye and all these other characters that Miller's famous for creating or making famous. And
that Electro first appearance is probably worth something too.
yeah, it is. I've got that in a safe deposit box.
Good move.
He's
That's
like,
a
you
good
fucking know it.
It's a good move on your part.
I got a lot in the safe deposit boxes, but anyway, be cognizant of your dollar. Try and negotiate. Don't bother negotiating with the food vendors; they're jerks.
No. And to kind of piggyback off of what you said, if you see something that you really want on the first day of a con, let's say it's Thursday, you might want to think about holding out until the very last day when you can get the best deals, because most of the vendors, they don't want to bring that shit back home with them, so they will jack prices down 50, 75% off. My girl is obsessed with plushies. She loves plushies. So every year at MegaCon, the first thing she wants to hit up is like all the booths with plushies, but I told her, look, just wait till the last day. They've got plenty of them, and she gets them for like 50 or 75% off on the last day.
But if you're like me and you see something you like on the first day, you're going to freak out and say, shit, what if it's not there Sunday? You buy it because you're too afraid that it won't be there on Sunday. So there's the flip side of that. I'm that guy. I'm the guy that says, I'm not willing to risk it. I'm getting that. Riley and I were the exact opposite in that case. In that glass case at Half Price Books, it was 2 books were there. They were priced the exact same, 2 different books. Riley said, I'm going to wait for it to drop. And I said, I'm getting that book right now. I don't want to wait. It is a good price. I'm getting it. So there were 2 exact opposites of the spectrum.
I lucked out a few years ago. I got Absolute New Frontier for $15.
Holy smoke.
Yeah, the guy had it on sale for about $40 on the first day at con, and I was like, all right, well, you know, 40 is it's about what was going for the price online and stuff like that at the time for it. So I kept walking around, came back Sunday, and I kept looking at his stuff, and he like marked down prices like crazy, and I was like, oh shit, it's still here for $15, and I picked it up.
See, I would have picked it up for 40. That's just, I'd be too afraid that it wouldn't be there. Did he have multiple copies?
No, he had just the one.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he had just the one that day.
I'd be freaking out.
Matt Miranda's asking if we go for multiple days. I go all 4 days. And by day 4, I'm usually like dead. And I usually leave early. Yeah, I don't last long on day 4.
When I've gone, I think I've usually gone for at least 2 days. Like Saturday, Sunday, or something like that. It depends on when I've been working, because now I have a job. Like, that was when I was working part-time jobs that were mostly on the weekends and nights and stuff. And now I have a job where I rarely work weekends, and if I do, it's only a couple hours. So then I would work around my work schedule is what I'm getting at. So I'd go as much as I could. I remember one day I went on like Saturday, and then I left, and then I had to go right into work at like 5 o'clock or something like that.
I'm probably good for just 1 day. Baltimore will take probably at least 2 full days to cover the whole thing. So I may go for 2 days.
I guess I'm the con junkie here, where I go all 4 days.
Well, yeah, I mean, if it's big enough. Yeah.
MegaCon is big enough.
Generally, I'm not big on signatures, so I usually go for merchandise, and I can usually get that covered. But I have George Perez in my Target site, so.
You never got anything signed by Perez?
I've never gotten anything signed by anybody. I just don't like to stand in line.
Oh.
No, that's wrong. At the last Awesome Con, I got something signed by George Takei from Star Trek.
Oh, that's cool. I've always wanted to meet him.
Yeah, he was very nice. But he's been on the Howard Stern show a lot, so we talked about Howard Stern a bunch. And so I got like 15 minutes with him. He was so nice. He was actually on break, and he said that he would sign something for me. But that's the only, and I had him sign a picture, but I'm just not big on signatures, but I'll take like Infinity Gauntlet or something for Perez to sign.
I'm not big on celebrity signatures either. I never usually wait in line for that stuff. I've got so many other things I want to do or check out. I'll get an artist or a writer signature, but like, oh, you get to meet like the cast of Harry Potter or something like that. I'm like, I'm good. I don't need to meet them.
Yeah, one of my really good friends, whom Jess, I think you noticed his pictures on my refrigerator.
Oh yeah.
He goes to all the cons and he gets like, that's what he goes for, is to meet celebrities and get their autographs and get pictures with them. And I'm like, the amount of money he spends to do that, I'm like, shit, dude, I would never do that. But
yeah,
you know, that's what he likes to do. I know that there's people who are like, shit, the amount of money you spend on really fucking big books, I would never do that. So
yeah, those pictures were really cool.
Yeah, my buddy, he got pictures. The two that he has that are on my fridge, one of them, it's him with Kobe Smulders and Jeremy Renner, and then the other one is him with Sebastian Stan.
Oh.
And he sends them out as his holiday cards. So
they were pretty cool.
Yeah, the first one was just him like standing with his arms over both, you know, Hawkeye and Maria Hill. And he said, because Hawkeye is making a face that's kind of a little bit like, I don't know, it's a little funny. And I asked him about it, and he was like, I was touching his butt.
That's great.
And then the Sebastian Stan picture, Sebastian was like, what do you want to do in the picture? And he goes, I'd like to do the pose from Gone with the Wind. Sebastian Stan is like holding him like he's about to kiss him. They're like looking into each other's eyes.
That was so awesome.
That's great.
What a good sport
they're
that guy is.
Every time he sends one, like he'll send it out and like he'll put it on Facebook as well. And I commented like this year, I was like, this is going right up on the wall or right up there on the fridge. And I never remove them. Like I love it so much.
That was great.
I'll tell you who I would like a picture with, and I will hunt her down and I will stand in line for her. I forget her name, but Gio is in the group tonight in the chat. He can tell me her name, and that's Medusa from the upcoming Inhumans show. She is smoking hot.
She's beautiful.
Smoking hot.
Yeah.
Whoever she is, I'll stand in line for an hour to get a picture with her.
I don't even know her, but I will stand there.
Yeah, no, I don't care. I just want a picture with her. She is sweet.
Shwing.
Swing.
So,
I stood in line for a little bit for a couple of artists. Like I stood in a short line for Greg Capullo. I stood in a short line for Neil Adams twice. And a lot of people don't like Neil Adams because he's kind of full of himself.
right.
And he is. But I'm like, the dude has the career that allows him to do that. But they also don't like him because he charges you for autographs. But I'm like, shit, I was buying a print anyway. And prints get a free autograph, so fuck it.
Yeah, at Baltimore Con, he was set up on a corner, and he has like his little gallery in front of him, and I guess it's him and his wife. And so I just wandered into the gallery, and I'm looking at everything, and there was a couple people in line, and I was going to get something, and I step out, and I look, and there, I was so clueless. There was 40 people in line across the way waiting to go through the booth, and I just stepped right up and walked into the booth, looked around, and there's all these people in line waiting. I had just cut in front of all of them and just said, oh, la da da, yeah, that looks good, that looks good. So I'm glad I looked, because I would have not wanted to get ass chewed out by Neil Adams in his booth.
This is
belittling me.
Jess is afraid of no geek, but he's afraid of Neil Adams.
Yeah, I don't need to get dressed down by Neil Adams.
I think a good rule of thumb is also set a budget.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Because you could easily blow past your budget and not even realize how much money you spent.
Yeah, that's a really good idea.
That happened to me that happened to me when I was, I want to say my fourth con, when I was like 17. I had just gotten my first job. I saved for months, and I had probably like $600 to spend. I wake up the next morning. I'm like, well, let me check my bank. Oh my God, negative $400. Yeah, that was not something good to wake up to. And, I'm a teenager. I went, Mom.
That's just good life advice. Always have a budget.
Yeah.
That's important. You don't want to be the guy who's like at the they buy a million different books and then you see them come in and be like, hey, I need to sell my whole collection.
Oh, yeah, that's never
that shit happens. But yeah, budgeting's really important. I usually will go in and I'll just take out some cash. Like I'll take out $100, $150.
Nice. Yeah.
I remember the last one I went to, Megan, it was before my birthday, and she was like, you can have like $150 of spending money for your birthday at the convention. So I took that, and there was like, aside from a couple prints that I got, Torpedo Comics was there, and everything was half off. So I bought a fuck ton of like paperbacks.
What was the convention you went to as press?
There was one in Dallas and then one in Austin. The one in Austin, I went to. It was much smaller, and it was like the first time I ever did anything, and it was not for me. It was for when I used to write for Population Go, which is now defunct. And so I went kind of as a person through them, and I was supposed to like write up an article about it, about the convention and the things that I did. And I was writing the article, and then that was also the same time that I found out that my like best friend had died. So I scrapped all of that, and I was like, fuck this, and that was a bad day. Yeah. The next one I went to was a year or two later, and it was in Dallas, and I went as press for my own website.
Right.
Really cool, because then I had a badge that said the Omnibus Collector on it.
Was that two or 3 years ago? When was that?
I think it was before I got married. No, maybe it wasn't. I think it was right when. No, it was about 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah,
it was after I got married. And we went up to Dallas with Megan's. Went to the con with Megan's brother, and his girlfriend, and we were looking around, and it was a lot of fun. We made a little video.
Yeah, I remember that.
I think there was a little segment where I was meeting Kevin Conroy, and he was super cool.
I still can't get a press pass for some reason.
I feel like if I was able to, I feel like you should be able to.
I can't get one. I've tried. I've tried it like 3 cons already, and I still can't get one. I always get denied.
Maybe it's because I have the website as well as the YouTube.
I think that might be the thing, which if it's cool with you, I'm going to put down that I work for you.
If that would help you out, then I would go ahead and say, yeah, go for it.
It might work, actually, now that I think about it, because we do the live stream, so technically we work together in some capacity. I don't know.
I mean, do it.
Give it a shot. But I've been trying for the past like 3 or 4 years, and like my channel's grown since I've come back last year. My channel's grown a lot, like by 4,000 subscribers. So I'm gonna try again this year to see if my luck, but no luck so far. I always get shot down.
Yeah, I should think they'd give you a press pass, no problem.
I don't know.
Well, if there's any issue with it, yeah, just show mine, because I do remember one of them saying like, it's like, are there articles written, or like, do you have a URL website? So I don't remember exactly what it was, but I was able to give both my old stuff that I wrote for other people and the things that I write for myself. So, the more information you can give and the more like professional connections you have, the better chance you get.
Sorry.
I'm just gonna go to the gate and go, yo, 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 I'm OmniDog. Let me in. Swat us up.
You guys know who I am. That's all you need to say.
I'm the dog. I'm J-Dog.
When we were at the toy museum, I know like I tried to ask about, what was it? Sponsoring?
Oh, sponsoring one of the
like
exhibits.
My words, if I recall, were like, we're part of like a kind of an online comic geek empire.
How'd that go?
He just gave me the guy's card that I needed to contact. I haven't contacted him yet.
Yeah, that's where we saw the Barbie car. We saw this pink convertible with a Barbie dressed as Jackie Onassis in the back seat of it. And I pointed it out to Riley and I said, look at that. Isn't that a little disturbing to you? It was down at the bottom and I was like, I could just stand here at an angle and she's right where I want her. It was so funny.
I thought it was funny when you brought it up to the guy that was working and he was like, oh my God, that's wrong.
It was great.
She had the pillbox hat on and everything.
Oh man. Was JFK next to him?
No, the seat was empty, which I thought was interesting. It made it even more obvious, I think, that the seat was empty.
Oh man. Any more tips you guys got?
Gosh, that was a good one about budgeting.
I think. Ooh, here's one that just to not look stupid. If you've never seen a certain writer or artist before, you might want to look them up online and make sure that the person you try to talk to is not their like assistant or handler or something.
I'm your biggest fan. I'm your biggest fan.
I did that to Bob Layton.
Did you really?
I did. Like I usually am really good. Like I know what people look like.
Yeah.
But for some reason I'd never seen a picture of Bob Layton before, and I went up there and I was like, "Could you sign my Iron Man book?" And the guy was like, "No, but he can." Oh, shit. I'm sorry, man.
How bad did you feel?
I felt pretty bad, but like I was like, "Thanks, bye," and I left. But I'm sure they get that shit all the time, so just don't be the like 50th person who does that to them. Or at least act really ambiguous, like you don't know who to talk to, and talk to everyone. And then whoever is supposed to be signing your stuff will probably be like, so what can I sign for you today? But yeah, I would say look up pictures.
Yeah, pictures help. Pictures are big.
Yeah.
You'd be like, oh, it's that. Yeah, you're Stan Lee. That's yep.
I'm actually planning to get something signed by Stan Lee this year. This is his last round of cons.
It's expensive, man.
Yeah, it really is. A signature for him is like 120 something. Last I checked, last year was like over 100 for a signature.
Yeah, it's pretty harsh.
It goes up every year that he gets older.
Yeah, he's not going to last much longer. He's been really ill this past year, so we'll see what happens.
I believe it.
He's pushing 93, I want to say.
Yeah, I believe that's right. 93.
Wow.
93, 94, something like that. He's up there. He outlived the king.
By a large margin.
Yeah.
Large Marge? Did I hear Large Marge, Jess?
Large margin.
Okay.
Any tips on commissions?
I've never gotten one, so I can't speak to that.
I haven't either because they're always too pricey for me.
I got a commission by Scotty Young once. I have an Akira print that he did for me once. Ran me about $250. Scotty was cool. He asked me what did you want to draw? I said Akira, and he said anything specific, and I said, dude, just go nuts. That was about it.
And did he do it right there, right then, or
no? I picked it up 2 days later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because he had a lot of commissions. Usually they're pretty good about that stuff. Obviously, don't be a jerk and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, Duke. And my dog and my beautiful girl arrived.
I don't know. I think I don't really have any other tips.
Yeah, I don't either.
No, I just know the people that I don't like at cons, and I know the things that I don't like doing at cons. Also, I find there's a lot of people who will play like Pokemon or Smash Bros with you. So if you have a 3DS,
that's a good advice.
with you. So if you're in line, you might find someone you can fight with. I don't know. I know that like the con I went to right after Smash Bros came out on 3DS, Deadpool was walking around with a sign that said, you know, something about facing him at Smash. So there's a lot of people who play.
Okay. Well, I'm out of ideas for cons. I think we covered it.
Yeah, a lot of people, they bring their 3DSs, and I'm expecting to see a lot of Switches this year.
That's a good idea.
So that's gonna be fun.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I don't know if I'd feel okay bringing mine because I still don't have a screen protector.
Oh, I'm not bringing my Switch. That's my baby. I still need to be Zelda.
You also can't bring Switch Blade, unfortunately.
Oh, here's one. Here's a good one. If you're Deadpool, it doesn't give you a license to be a prick to everybody and photobomb everybody and be a giant asshole. Oh, it's cool. You're Deadpool. You're so original. You know, all that other stuff. And I genuinely don't mind the Deadpools. A lot of them are cool, and a lot of them are really creative. But some of them are just fucking assholes. At least in my experience.
And don't be the guy that tries to act like they're superior than everyone else because maybe you have a little bit more knowledge or you know.
Oh, everybody hates that guy.
Little older than everyone else. Like if you're the older fan and you're looking around at everyone who's, you know, kids compared to you or who literally are kids.
Yeah.
Don't be the dick who's like rude to them just because, you know, don't be the to take a term that's been coined. Don't be the gatekeeper.
Yeah.
You know, to let these events strive and to help the community and the medium grow. You want as many new fans to come in as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of being like, I read this run when it was coming out in singles, like be like, oh cool, you're into this. I remember when this was first coming out. It's an awesome series. I'm glad people are still into it. Stuff like that. Like help people out. Don't be closed off. Don't push people away from our hobby that everyone, you know, we want more people to love it just as much as we do.
And please don't dismiss the females as well, because this happened to my girlfriend where she's talking to somebody. I'm talking in a conversation. She'll jump in and they completely dismiss her because she's a female.
Those are two good points.
Yeah. Yeah, Jess dismisses everyone that's younger than him.
I think Matt Miranda says it best. Don't be the comic book guy from The Simpsons.
Worst con ever.
God, everybody hates that guy. And if somebody buys an issue or something like that and they're really excited about it, don't be the buzzkill and go up to them and go, "Oh, really? You like that?"
Oh, you like Squirrel Girl?
Yeah. You like Red Hood and the Outlaws?
Okay, well, there's a problem with that.
Although it's Red Hood and the Outlaws, I feel like that's justified in any con. I think we're pretty good unless you guys got any more.
I got nothing to say, and I actually should be skedaddling because my wife wanted me to be off by like 9 o'clock my time so I can help her fold clothes and do other totally exciting things.
And I have to get stuff from the car.
Okay.
You want to go ahead and close it out then?
If you guys are done.
I don't have anything else. I've covered most of the basic stuff for cons.
Yep, me too.
Yeah, I don't have any more advice that I could give outside of just have fun.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, have fun. Enjoy it. And keep cash with you. Cash is easier than card to deal with.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cash will get you better deals at vendors.
Yes, it will, because they don't have to pay taxes.
And cash is easier to maintain your budget with.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, take out, like my rule is and I genuinely do this. I take about $300. That's the whole weekend. That is it, and I leave the cards at home.
Yeah, that's smart.
Because it's really tempting. Oh, I've got amount of credit on here, and then before you know it,
Yeah.
you've got a brand new statue that costs over $1,000. All right, but we're gonna go ahead and end it. Riley, where can they find you?
You can find me at the channel that rarely gets used now because of technical difficulties and tardiness.
Next week should be on your channel, right?
Yeah, next week would be on my channel, and I think I'll have a pretty fun topic to do for us. My channel, I believe it's just Ryleymo. You can search the Omnibus Collector, and you'll find me on YouTube. You'll find me on the internet, www.theomnibuscollector.com. I'm on Twitter. I'm on other places. Find me. And then, of course, my Facebook group, the Omnibus Collectors, Comic Swap, and Community. I believe that currently we are all caught up with our requests for members. If you have trouble getting in there, message one of the admins, me, Jess, Lewis, whoever. It's probably because your Facebook profile is private or something, and we just can't tell if you're a real person. But yeah, that's where you can find me.
Cool beans. Jess, where can they find you?
They can find me at Riley's house, stealing his books.
Now that he knows how to get here.
Now I know where he lives. They can find me on Riley's Omnibus page, the comic swap. The Omnibus Collectors Comics. He just said it. The Omnibus Collectors Comic Swap and Community. And I'd also like to take 2 seconds to plug Frank Gogel's Kickstarter for Grief. It is a fabulous book, a comic that it's only cost you $1, and you get a digital download. I read it. I think it's great. I urge everyone to go to Kickstarter and search for Frank Gogel's Gio-A, and search out his comic anthology Grief. It's very well written and drawn.
Very well said. So for me, you can find me here, obviously. If this is your first time checking out this channel, I do weekly reviews, hardcovers, trades, all that good stuff. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter. It's in the description. Easiest way to get a hold of me. And of course, if you enjoy this stuff, there is tons of other content, literally hours and hours of content on my Patreon page. And all it costs is $1 to get the Jess and Hardcover news show that we do. You get that once a month. And if you are the $5 level, you get it once a week. So that has been fun. Me and Gabe, we recorded this week, and I blame Matt Miranda for this, you sick bastard. We watched Super Mario Brothers together.
Yes.
We recorded our thoughts on it. It's at the $10 Patreon level. God, that hurt. I'm going to be honest, I almost didn't make it through it. Halfway through it, I looked at Gabe and I said, are we really still doing this? That was the most painful thing I've done in a while. But that was really fun at the same time. Me and Gabe, basically it's just talking the shit. We watched it. You hit play. When we hit play, and you get to watch the movie with us. That's at the $10 level. That's really fun. We've been doing that every other week. We've decided the next movie we're going to cover is Punisher Warzone. So that's going to be fun. So check that out in the description and all that good stuff. Love you guys. Have a great night. Bye.
Good night.
Peace and love.
Bye.